3,000 years ago in India, an Indian prince named Shakyamuni lived a very wealthy life. But one day, Shakyamuni asked himself two questions. Why do we live? And what makes us happy? To find out the answers, he went far away from the palace he was living in and went into the forest to train and find out the answers. After 6 years of training, he was very hungry and tired. So, Shakyamuni went into the town and met a woman. Then the woman gave him milk to get rid of Shakyamuni's hunger. Suddenly, Shakyamuni quote-unquote realized everything. He had gained wisdom to know all answers in the world. Then Shakyamuni started to spread his words and teachings throughout Asia. Along the way, Shakyamuni solved people's problems and told them to live the way of Buddha. Later, as Shakyamuni's father finally knew about his whereabouts, he told Shakyamuni to come back. Instead, Shakyamuni did not come back himself and sent one of his students to him. The king was very disappointed, so he then asked what the most important teachings were. The student said to live the life without greediness and violence, but the king expected a more complex answer. So he said, "What? Even a 3-year-old can't understand that." Then the student replied, "Yes, but 80-year-olds cannot do it." Now we talk about the Boethius's predestination and free will. In Book 5 of the Constellation of Philosophy, Boethius is concerned about the relationship between foreknowledge and free will. He says there seems to be hopeless conflict between divine foreknowledge of all things and freedom of the human will. For if God sees everything in advance and cannot be deceived in any way, whatever his providence foresees must happen. Thus, the initial problem is that whatever God foreknows is something that must happen, and whatever must happen does not happen freely. Therefore, if God foreknows everything we do, we never act freely. But I disagree with that answer. I think it's human. Humans have most freedom when they're isolated. But as there are more people, they have less and less freedom. Everyone is predestined, but humans restrict that. I think our decisions and choices are predestined. One cannot realize or gain wisdom without going through suffering. The suffering comes from predestination. Next, we talk about the future of belief systems in America. In my opinion, I think the belief systems in the world will decrease over time. As technology develops, people will start to believe less and less magical things that happen in sacred texts, like evolution theory, scientific theory, and other space or observations will decrease the people believing in other religions. And the real-life problems of religion conflicts like Islam and Christianity, corruption, makes people believe less and less and wants to not follow the religions that they're believing in. Like ISIS, those extreme terrorists they disguise themselves as Muslims and attacks people trying to denounce how Muslims are. And this is one way why future belief system of America will decrease. Next is economical problems. People are getting busier and busier every day. People want to earn more money as the economy is failing. So they have no time to go to churches or even read a Bible. More and more people are believing in free will, not predestination. They think every decision and fate are all because of their free will. Since Anisa has not done her work, I'll just skip to the interview video segment. So the next video segment will be the interview with T. Nguyen Kim, the great monk of the temple Chukolam Pagoda. So my interview questions were these. First, in Buddhism, is people's lives in free will or are they predestined? His answer was, people's lives are in free will, but the people you meet in the present day are people you meet in the previous lives. Second, I asked him, what made you follow teachings of Buddhism? His answer was, when I was 17, on a hot summer day in Vietnam, I used to go to the Buddhist temple that was close to my house because there was a big tree that created a large shade to avoid the sunburn. Then a few days later, one monk came to me and asked if I wanted to follow the teachings of Buddha. That was how I began to follow the teachings of Buddha. Third, I asked him what the most important teachings of Buddhism. He said to live a humble life, to not be greedy, and live a happy life without violence. Then I asked him, does your belief system believe people are born naturally good, evil, or neutral? He answered, it all matters in your previous life before you reincarnate. If you are a good person in your previous life, you become a better person after. If you are wicked and evil, you will have a worse life in the next reincarnation. Next, I asked him, how was your belief system changed over time? And he said, it has not. Since Buddhism was perfect since the foundation, the teachings of Buddha was very simple, yet very complicated at the same time, where no one can follow. Actually, not no one, but people who have desire and believe in Buddha with all their heart. Finally, I asked him what the future belief system of America will be. And he said, I am not the one who is able to know that. If I knew, the Buddha will give us wisdom and teach us the ways to encourage everyone in the world to allow and live the life